and I'm here today to set up my April bullet journal with you. So I used to keep a bullet journal very regularly back in 2017. I lived by it, and it was one of the most helpful things for me for remembering things and for getting things done and for productivity. And then when Sophia was born, I kind of let it slip a little bit. By let it slip a little bit, I mean I haven't kept one in 3 years. And I've really missed doing it. So I thought that I wanted to set one up again, but I keep refusing to make the time for it. I'm not prioritising it. So I thought if I'm doing it as a video for you guys, I'm holding myself accountable and I'm forcing myself to set it up. So this is a bit different to our normal content, which is why normally we post videos every Tuesday, Thursday and Saturday, but we thought we would do this as a bonus video for you, as like a little extra. If you do like this video, please let us know, because I'm tempted to just do one every month anyway, just to get everything set up. I don't have fancy handwriting, I'm not very skilled artistically, I don't have fancy supplies, but I'm just gonna kind of bumble along, explain to you what I'm putting in my bullet journal. I'm setting up a few like yearly spreads as well as my monthly stuff. I'll explain what I'm putting in here, and I'll explain how bullet journals work, just in case you're somebody who normally watches my channel and you haven't come from the bullet journaling community. So hopefully you'll learn something today. Please forgive me if this is the cringiest bullet journaling video you've ever seen, because I don't really know what I'm doing. But ta-da! There's some stationery for you, set up all nicely. So here's my little notebook. I've opened it the wrong end, which is a good sign. I don't like using brand new notebooks, so I'm using one that I took to Plymouth and Truro with me when I did some training for work. I'm not going to be working with this company for much longer, I don't think. Stuff's going on, can't really talk about it. But it means that this lovely notebook isn't being used. So I have already been through and kind of done a few little illustration bits of what I want to do. So I'm going to mostly be going over these in pen today and like trying to make them look a little bit better. I have the Staedtler Tri-Plus fine liners. I live by these. I think that they're wonderful. They normally come in like a little plastic thing that stands up and you get all the different colours, but Sophia liked playing with them, so half of my colours have been lost to the unknown, but we'll try using these and see how it goes. I'm not quite sure how thick the paper is in this journal, so I'm probably only going to use this one temporarily, because I don't know whether it's going to be a case that it's going to bleed through. I don't know how much like heavy duty colouring I can do. My old bullet journal was literally £1 from the card factory, and I used it so much that it completely fell apart and I had to like tape it back together again with washi tape, but it looked really cool and I liked that. So this one will probably have the same level of treatment. But I thought, why not? It's April, it's my birthday month, I'm nearly 25, I should get my beep together a little bit more, and this is a way of doing it. So if you don't know what a bullet journal is, a bullet journal, the way I describe it to Sean, it's like a way of combining all the different things together that you could possibly need apps for, just into one handy dandy little place. So if you want to track how much you're sleeping, if you want to track what you're eating, if you want to track exercise, reading, like you can put everything in here. They're very tailored to the individual, so it works if you aren't very artistic like me, and it works if you're super duper extremely artistic. Like there are some absolutely beautiful bullet journals like that, and I am feeling a little bit scared about putting this video up. Sean's the one, oh I've already smudged it, wonderful. Sean is the one that was like, you should definitely put a bullet journaling video up. And I was like, no, I'm a massive klutz. Case in point, I've just smudged it. And I'm not very artistic, and I don't know if he would like my videos. And he said, well, like I'm not very artistic, and I would like to learn more about bullet journaling. Do that as like a funky little star. Yeah, I'll do some stars. Save it. Saved it. But he said he'd like to learn more about bullet journaling, and he said he's sure there's like some other people out there who also aren't very artistic, who feel a bit kind of scared and overwhelmed by the whole thing. So hopefully this will be a way that for all you people out there, I'm going to do those ones upside down because I don't want to risk smudging it even more. But for all you people out there who would like to do a bullet journal but think that you need to have the most beautiful spreads and the most intricate little things and like all the different little stationery bits, you don't. You can just use some fine liners or just pencils. You can use just pencils if you want to, but just make it yours. Make it your own. Do a Louis Walsh and make it your own. I'm gonna see if this works, like, so that then I can take the pencil line away and just have like a yellow stripe of colour up here. I will get a rubber later and erase the pencil lines, but I've only just remembered that I was meant to do that, and Sophia was playing with my rubber the other day, so God knows where that's gone. I'm super duper prepared, as you can tell. Also going to take them a little bit further. I want it to go like across the whole top of the page. Just a little like intro to hopefully hold me accountable. And so in like 10 years, when I haven't used this at all, I can open it up and be like, oh no, that was my failed attempt at another bullet journal. I don't know how people have the confidence to do videos for these, because most people just seem like so put together and they're like, oh, I know exactly what I'm doing. Like, my hand forgets how to be a hand when I'm doing things like this in front of people, and it's a bit scary. There we go. It kind of looks like a spaghetti noodle now. That's what we were going for. We were going for a pasta themed smudgy page. So then we got the contents page. It is bleeding through a little bit, but not as much as I was concerned that it would. So we will stick with the fine liners, and I'm not fussed if it bleeds through because it's only me that's using it. Do like a little contents page, so I always number my pages, and then I can do a contents at the beginning. I sometimes put washi tape down the sides of the pages. That's why I brought my washi tape down, just in case I feel like doing that. But I used to do it at festivals, so if there was a festival lineup and I wanted to remember who was doing it, or wanted to know like who I was excited about, or wanted to check out new bands and then put them on my list, then I would do it that way. I'd have like the washi tape page, and like yellow would be for Reading Festival because that's yellow and red, and like blue would be for Slam Dunk because that is blue in my mind. And it was just a nice way of keeping track of it, so I could get to these pages really easily. So I might do that. But then also, none of us have anything going on at the moment. I don't know if you do, but I do not. So I'm assuming that any kind of things like that won't be happening in this bullet journal. That I'll be waiting until a future one. So we will not do that today, but we will wait and see how COVID is going, because there might eventually be concerts again, and we have tickets for concerts, but whether they'll go ahead or not remains to be seen. Which I've only just realised is one of the things that I say the most, and I'm sorry if that gets annoying because I've already said it like 3 times. So you may have noticed that things have changed on this page in the last second. We were filming on my phone, and we filmed for 40 minutes setting up this bullet journal, and my phone decided to cut out at 8.5 minutes, and I did not know. So what we're going to do is Sean is going to kindly cobble together from my original audio a walkthrough of this bullet journal. I'm going to briefly flick through it with you, and Sean will pop some of the audio over the top, and hopefully it will still make some kind of sense, because obviously I did film the audio while I was actually setting it up, so yeah, it's a bit of a mess, but I'm sorry. I just thought at least this way we've still got a video for you and you can still kind of see what's going on. So as you can see, I coloured in the target red, and I chose myself some little goals. I've also found my rubber since I filmed, so I'm going to just use this time to erase the pencil lines from the background from everything. So I should probably write some goals in there. So my goals for this year were to get 100 subscribers, which I've done. And to get 100 views on a video, and our most viewed video now is on like nearly 700. So I've done that too. So I'm going to change our goals. I'm going to say 200 subscribers. We'll go for 1,000 views on a video. Because like if we're getting 700 on one, 1,000 isn't like that much higher. So I shouldn't be too disappointed if we don't achieve it. But also our Hook a Duck TBR game is growing quickly. We have done December, January, February, March and April. We've done 5 of them so far. The first one was our first video that got over 200 views. And then each of them has just gotten bigger and bigger since then. So it wouldn't be wild to assume that one would have 1,000 views by the end of the year. I mean, we're on April now. Nearly April. It's the 28th of March as I'm filming this, which is I'm going to be setting up my April pages in a second. But we're on the 28th of March now, and we've had nearly 700 views on one of them. So is there another 300 views in 8 months? Possible. We'll do that. I'd like to read 100 books, which directly contradicts what you're about to see when I turn the page, but we'll pretend that it doesn't. I'm going to put review everything you read, like that. I might colour it in at some point, but I don't know. I quite like the black and white with the slight little bit of yellow going on. So from our goals page, we then go to our calendar page. As you can see, we do have some bleed through. So I decided to stop using the pens for the rest of the book. I have managed to find out my lovely Derwent pencils. So I'm going to use those in a moment to colour in my April title page. We have the calendar, which I have arted in for you. I've never done one of these before. I just decided to have a calendar in the front because I'm fed up with constantly checking my phone. But I'm probably never going to use it. But it will make it easier for planning videos because we do videos every... And there is the calendar spread. So far I've popped little arrows just underneath the one side just because this is our schedule. So we post every Tuesday, Thursday and Saturday. So I pop little arrows underneath so I know which are our filming and posting days, which are our upload days. I haven't done that over here yet just in case you decide to change our schedule towards the end of the year. Then we have what is my favourite spread, which is our bookshelves. Bookshelves. Right, so, as you can see, there are 12 bookshelves, right? How many books did I say I was trying to read? 100. How many books are on this shelf up here? 20. What's 20 times by 12? 240. So Alice, why have you done that? Why would you do that to yourself? You want to read 100 books. Your Goodreads goal is 100 books. You've been telling everybody you're only doing 100 books this year. Why have you drawn 240? And the answer to that, my friends, is that I did 240 last year because of lockdown. And I didn't expect us to have 3 months of lockdown at the beginning of the year. So I have already read 35 books. Not as many as I would have read this time last year, to be fair. My brain noggin has been doing a bad time. I don't know, I might share on that in the future. I might do like a mental health video because it's important to talk about it, but I don't really know how to talk about it. I tried to do a video before and it was literally just me crying, like wearing my towel. I came out of the shower, thought I'm going to film a video, and then I just cried. And that wasn't the handiest. For this spread I have used some of my Wilko own brand washi tape. It was £1.25 for a pack of 6, which was a nice bargain. Unfortunately it does have some of the factory markings on it. I made the effort to go and cover some of it up earlier, but then I realised it happens pretty regularly throughout the roll. There's even some still on the roll there that you can see. So I'm just using it on the top of the bookshelf, so I'm gonna have that covered up when these are coloured in, and eventually these will all be coloured. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna do them based off the colours that we use for our Hook a Duck TBR. So if I've read a middle grade, it'll be pink. If I've read a fantasy book, it'll be yellow. If I've read an orange book, it'll be a sci-fi book that I've read. If I read a young adult book, it'll be green. If I choose my own book, I'll put that down as a silver one, so that will be a dealer's choice book. And if my friends pick a book, or if I read a recommendation, that book will end up being purple. So hopefully by the end of the year, I should be able to see not only like what we've been doing on Hook It Up, it's going well, also kind of like what the breakdown is, how many books I'm picking to read for myself, whether we are managing to get ahead on the TBR. So if you ever think like, oh, a bookshelf page wouldn't be good for me because I can't fit enough books on it, because that's what I used to think, you can fit 240 books in a very small notebook very easily. So unless you're reading like ridiculous amount of books each year, go for it. Do a bookshelf page. Why not? Then we have our April title page, which I'm just going to colour in for you now. I will just erase the pencil lines again. This looks a lot nicer without the pencil lines underneath, because I messed up a little bit when I was doing this out in pencil. And I decided to change some of my flowers as well. So earlier when I had the just pencil lines, I decided to do just little daisies, but now I have something that kind of looks like a clover, something that looks a bit pansy, I guess. But yeah, it's just kind of pretty. So I'm just going to colour in some April for you. For this I'm going to go with like a green scheme, because it's April and it's the start of spring, and I love spring and I hate winter, and I'm looking forward to all of the nice green things popping up. I don't know if it's the official start of spring. I think March is technically, but April normally feels more like spring to me. Again, I am not an artist, so I am really sorry if this looks terrible, but as long as you are happy with what you are creating, and as long as the bullet journal works for you, that's the most important thing. The fancy spreads are beautiful, but not all of us have the time or the artistic skill to do fancy spreads. As you can see with this one, I'd like penciled it out earlier so that I could do like a fancy font. April. So I drew some flowers and some butterflies, and it's a bit embarrassing because they're not very good, but we can pretend that it was by design. I honestly did not want them to be that good. I copied out, I mean, like, I looked at some pictures of people's fonts. I was like, I can do that, and then I tried to do it and it did not go well. So we'll also pretend that this doesn't look like it was drawn by Sophia, who cannot hold a pen, let alone make letters with one. But yeah, it's, as I said, I haven't done one of these in a very, very long time. So it's not going to be the best, it's not going to be the worst. And it also proves to you that, like, you can do it. It doesn't matter if you don't have art skills. It doesn't matter if you can hardly read the words that you're putting on the page. You can just do it for you. Like, if you like it, then that's what matters. And I think a lot of these, like, bullet journaling sites forget that it's not only just about it being beautiful, it's also about it being usable. And, like, that's usable. Now I'm going to do the bottom half in this darker green. Hopefully they will work nicely together. Oh yeah, that looks quite nice. Yeah, pretty happy with that. And then I'll do a little yellow butterfly. And then a little red butterfly. And then I'll make, the flowers can be, that flower can stay white. This one can be a little red flower. Oops, went over the line a little bit there. And then this whole flower is going to be yellow. So that's nice and summery. There we go. So pretty happy with that. As you can see on the other page, we have a monthly page to view, I think it's called. Just popped in some important dates on there. This will mostly be used in the future when we've got more things going on. But I was doing a habit tracker. I'm sorry for how messy this is. Again, I couldn't find my ruler. I had forgotten I even had a habit tracker on here. So we'll take a minute or so to do this one because habit trackers are really handy. I was just going to ask, like, have you used a habit tracker before? But you can't answer me because you are from the future and I am here by myself right now. So I will assume you haven't used a habit tracker yet, and I will explain what a habit tracker is. So a habit tracker is basically a month to view thing of like all the stuff you want to do daily or regularly. So a lot of people do it for like making sure that they've done exercise, making sure that they've eaten enough fruit and vegetables in a day, making sure that they're getting enough sleep. I am doing it to make sure that I'm doing the productive things that I want to do on a regular basis. So I don't care if I fill in every single gap. I just want to look at the end of the month and say, right, okay, so these days I did do it, these days I didn't do it. See if there's any kind of rhyme or reason to when I'm not doing the things. If it's like work days, or if it's when other stuff's going on, or if there's like a specific day of the week where I just seem to have like a bad brain time. Because it's not something I find easy to track by myself. I can look back through my diary and think like, oh yeah, like last Wednesday was awful, this Wednesday was awful, is it a Wednesday thing? But if I can look at it on here and see like, oh, I haven't coloured anything in on any Wednesday this month, like yeah, Wednesdays are definitely a bad day, so then I will reschedule everything from Wednesdays to other days so that I'm not falling behind. But I have fun things on here as well as productive things, which I'm really proud of what I've chosen for this habit tracker, even if I'm not proud of the fact that I couldn't find my ruler, so it's all going to be done by hand. But I've put like making sure to drink enough drink because I always get dehydrated. I've got making sure to read a book to the babies every single day because we always read them, but I never track them because we're often reading the same book 10 or 12 times in a month. And so I'll write down like when we've read it the first time, but I won't necessarily keep track of how often we're reading because of that. And I would like to keep track of that more. So I've got Song Pop, which is a fun little app where you can guess what the song is that's playing, and you have to do it in like a certain amount of time, and you get a reward if you do it every single day. So I think I've played every single day for 2 months now, which it's only something silly, but it means that I have something that isn't book or blog related that I can use as like an outlet. I also have Pokemon Go, same reason. I like catching a Pokemon every single day. If you do 7 days in a row, you get a little bonus. So I just want to make sure I'm logging in every day, getting that bonus, and even if I literally just do that and then close it down, I can still colour that in for the day. And then hopefully I'll actually use this and it will actually give me some interesting data. Like I've put BookTube on there, so that's either when I'm uploading or when I'm watching. Because like I have so many things on my want to watch list that I just haven't had time to get to, that I really, really want to get to, you know. There are so many interesting creators out there, and I don't only love learning about books, like I love learning about all the different things in their lives, and I find it fascinating. But like because I'm trying to do so much, I always end up forgetting to like catch up on things like that. So hopefully this will hold me accountable and I'll be like, wow, I haven't watched any BookTube today, let me just whap a video on before bed while I'm brushing my teeth, put the book down for once and just, yeah, I read while I brush my teeth, don't judge me, but yeah, put the book down for once, just sit while I brush my teeth, enjoy a video, habit tracker, woo! So yeah, that'll be all coloured in. I'll pick like a different colour for each day. Oh no, I'll pick a different colour for each thing. That'll be way cooler. Yes, then I'll have like bloop, 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 bloop. So it's not the neatest habit tracker I've ever seen, but I'm pretty chuffed considering I did it by hand. My little habits down the side and my grid that I will soon be colouring in when I do the things. We then have the expenditures page. And then I've just got a little example there of how you would start off a daily spread. So I'm not one of those people that works too far ahead. So we're filming this on the 23rd of March. So I don't know what I'm going to be doing on the 1st of April. But I've just popped on there as an example. Like, if you pop something with a dot, it means it needs to be done that day. So I'll pop on there to kiss Ezra and Sophia. Kiss Ezra and Sophia. So on the 1st, when I kiss Ezra and Sophia, I'll pop a little cross on it, like you can see at the top there, where I've got upload book birthday party. When I did my example earlier, I just kind of said like, oh yeah, I'll cross it through because I know I'll definitely do it. We're filming that tomorrow, so there's no way that that one's going to be up late. And then I've got finish the Shadow Rising. I explained earlier, you can draw a little arrow, and then that means that you have pushed it off and you will do it on a different day. So eventually you'll put another dot, and that dot will have Finish the Shadow Rising next to it, and then hopefully by the end of that day you'll have a little cross through it. So what I do with mine is I always let myself do arrows a maximum of 3 times. So I put it on there and then I postpone it. I have it on there again and then I postpone it again. I have it on there again and then I postpone it the last time, and then the very last time I'll have the like dot, but I'll also have like 3 exclamation marks so that I know I've already postponed that a few times. I've just lost my pen that's somewhere. There we go. Then I'll know that I postponed that task a few times, so I'll know that is a major priority and it must be done as soon as possible. That works really well for me because I am somebody who procrastinates, and even with a thing like this, I will put it on there like the earliest it needs to get done. If the deadline for something is the Sunday, I'll put the job on there on the Monday, and then I'll postpone it to the Wednesday, I'll postpone it to the Thursday, and then on the Friday I will say I 100% have to do this. So I use the bullet journal knowing that I procrastinate and knowing that things will get rescheduled and knowing that I will be able to reschedule them, and eventually hold myself accountable and see like, look, come on, you've postponed it too many times, you've got to do it today, and that's when I definitely do it. So it means that if I've got easier jobs, I can get them ticked off really early. If I've got a job that I'm finding really daunting or mentally draining, or I just don't have the time for it, then I can push it back, but I know that I can't push it back for too long. I don't know if other people use the rescheduling in that way, but that's the way I like to do it. And then you also have a little event dot there. When April Fool's Day is over, I will colour that in. So it will be a dark, like it will be a completely black circle. If I don't end up doing that, if for some reason a concert gets cancelled last minute, or if I'm ill, or if I get called into work, I will just pop a cross through it and then do a really thin line through it. So then I can look back and be like, oh, okay, I was meant to see Funeral for a Friend that day, but I didn't. I wonder why. Probably because it's been rescheduled because of COVID, let's be honest. But then I'll have a really nice, easy look. When I look back at this in the future, I'll be able to see like, okay, like I celebrated Lauren's birthday, but I didn't make it to Raf's birthday party. So little things like that. It's just a nice handy dandy way to do it. I also used to do a thing where like if I had information, I would pop a little hyphen. So if, say for example, on the 1st of April, Ezra says leopard for the first time, I would pop in there like Ezra said leopard. Or if the Blackout get back together on the 1st of April, I'll write in there like the Blackout reunited. So I've got really big events that mean a lot to me, really easy to see, again, so that I can look back in the future. And that is everything for you. So I'm really sorry that this video got a little bit messed up, but we'll just flick through the spreads that we managed to get together. So you've got the bullet journal title page, I've got my contents page and my goals page, which I will eventually add more to, and I will eventually fill that in. I just can't be bothered right now. I've got my calendar. I've got my bookshelves, which again I will be colouring in fairly soon. I've got my nice, bright and beautiful title page there, which I'm feeling really chuffed with actually. The lovely month to view, the habit tracker for April, the expenditures for April, and then the start of the April days that can go on and on endlessly. So I hope that you enjoyed this video, even if it didn't quite go to plan. If you did, then please do subscribe. Let me know down in the comments if you would like to see more bullet journaling from us in the future. It's something that really interests me, and it's something I've had a lot of fun filming, especially considering I've had to film it twice in one day. So I would be really interested in doing more of these for you if you enjoyed it. We post new videos every Tuesday, Thursday and Saturday, so please make sure to come back for one of those. This one is not going up on any of those days because it's a nice little bonus video, because it's something we haven't tried before, so we weren't sure whether you'd enjoy it or not. But if you did, please subscribe, please give it a like for us, and we will see you again very soon, hopefully with a video that goes a little bit more smoothly. Bye! Oh, rubber shavings all over the table, Grace.